The stars went quiet one by one. The great space nations stopped talking. Their message systems fell silent across the stars. No one knew why. Commander June sat in Earth's big space station. He looked at the dark screen that once showed messages from alien friends. Humans had only been allowed to join the space nations for a short time. The aliens had called humans too wild and dangerous. Now those mighty aliens were gone. "Commander, we're getting a strange message," said Yuna. Her fingers moved quickly over the controls. "It's not on any normal channel." The message was short but scary. "They are coming. The darkness eats everything. Only the wild ones might survive." June looked at Admiral Da, who spoke for Earth to the now silent space nations. "So they thought we were too warlike," said Da with a grim face. "And now they need that very thing." "Should we answer?" asked Yuna. June nodded slowly. "Get our ships ready. If we're the only ones left to fight, then we will fight." In just days, Earth got its spaceships ready. Only 37 ships, most of them made for exploring, not fighting. Workers quickly added weapons to them. These ships would fly into unknown danger, toward the edge of known space where the silence first began. Captain Ta checked the weapons on his ship, the Earth Starship Brave. "We don't have much, but we'll make it work," he told his crew. Science officer hand-loaded data into the ship's computers. "We don't know what we're facing," he said to June. "But humans are good at facing the unknown." As the small fleet prepared to leave Earth, millions watched from below. People lit candles in windows. Children waved flags. Old soldiers stood at attention. "Why are we going?" a young crew member asked Da. "These aliens never fully accepted us." "Because that's what humans do," Da answered. "We help when called, even when those calling didn't always help us." The night before they left, June couldn't sleep. He stood by the window of his quarters, looking down at the blue-green planet. "We've fought each other for most of our history," he said quietly to himself. "Maybe that was just practice for this." At dawn, the fleet lifted off. The ships were small compared to the mighty vessels the aliens once had. The weapons were simple, but the hearts of those aboard were brave. No other race was coming to help. The advanced aliens with their smart machines and old wisdom were gone. Only humans, the newcomers, the wild ones, the beings too unpredictable to fully trust, had answered the call. As the Earth grew smaller behind them, Yuna asked, "Do you think we can win against something that defeated races far more advanced than us?" June looked at the stars ahead. They were more advanced, yes, but maybe that's not what's needed now. Maybe the universe needs something else, something more human. The fleet jumped to light speed, heading toward the edge of known space and into darkness. No one else was coming. Only humanity had answered. After 3 weeks of travel, the Earth ships reached the edge of known space. What they saw made everyone stop and stare. "That can't be real," said Captain Ta from his ship. He rubbed his eyes. In front of them, stars were being eaten. A huge, moving darkness spread across space. It didn't just block light, it ate it. Where great alien cities once stood on planets, there was nothing. "The void," said Han, looking at his screens. His hands shook. "It's not an alien race or an attack. It's something else." The Earth ships found one small alien ship floating near the edge of the darkness. Inside was one survivor, a tall, thin alien with green skin. His name was Rivan. "We thought we were so smart," Rivan told them when they brought him onto June's ship. "We stopped having wars long ago. We thought we were beyond fighting. When the void came, we tried to talk to it. We tried to understand it." He looked down. "But some things can't be talked to. Some things can only be fought." June looked at the data from Raven's ship. "This void isn't just eating matter. It's eating thoughts, ideas, even time itself." "Why didn't they call Earth for help sooner?" asked Yuna. "Pride," said Raven simply. "And when they finally decided to call humans, it was too late. The void had broken our message system. Ta watched the darkness move on the screens. How do we fight something that eats light? Han, who had been studying the data, looked up. Not with fancy technology. The more advanced the technology, the more the void wants to eat it. That's why it ate the other aliens first. And why it might have missed Earth, said June. We're too simple to notice. Then what do we have that they don't? Asked Da. Raven looked at the humans. You are unpredictable. You fight. You are willing to break things to save things. All the things the other aliens didn't like about you. That night, the human leaders met to make a plan. They set up a simple room with paper maps instead of using computers. The void might sense advanced tech. The void seems to feed on patterns and order, said Han. The aliens lived very ordered lives. Everything was planned. Everything was logical. And humans? Asked Da. We're messy, said Yuna with a small smile. We don't always make sense. We feel strongly. We act on gut feelings. June nodded. So we'll fight it in a human way. Not with the best tech, but with heart and surprise. As they talked, the void moved closer to their position. The screen showed it eating a small moon nearby. We need to test it, said Ta. See how it reacts to different things. They sent out simple probes, some with tech, some without. The void quickly ate the high-tech ones but ignored the simple metal objects. It confirms what we thought, said Han. It feeds on complexity, on advanced thought and tech. June looked at his fellow humans. Then we'll give it something it doesn't expect. Something the advanced aliens forgot long ago. What's that? Asked Revan. June's eyes were hard and bright. Chaos. Earth got ready for a war like no other. Not with fancy space guns, but with old, simple weapons. We're going back to basics, said General Suho in a message to Earth. Simple bombs. Fire. Even rocks shot at high speed. Simple weapons against a space monster. Someone asked with doubt. Yes, June confirmed. The void eats smart things. It feeds on order and patterns. The aliens' smart computers, their thinking machines, their perfect plans, all became food for the void. But raw power, simple destruction, that might be something it can't eat so easily. Earth's factories worked day and night. Millions of people signed up to help, even knowing they might die. The plan came from thousands of years of human wars, ways of fighting that the peaceful aliens had given up long ago. Yuna watched as workers loaded old-style bombs onto ships. I never thought we'd use these to save the galaxy. It's not just the weapons, said Han, who had spent weeks studying the void. It's human nature itself. The aliens grew to be too perfect, too ordered. They lost something important along the way. What's that? She asked. Chaos, he replied. The will to break down and rebuild. The strength to keep fighting even when hurt or scared. 3 months after meeting the void, Earth launched its attack. Not with their few starships, but with unmanned flying bombs designed by Tai and his team. Devices that would tear holes in space itself, forcing the void to pull back from the wounds. Behind these came the man ships, sacrifice ships, people called them. Crews who volunteered knowing they might never come home. Remember, June told the pilots, the void expects order. It expects patterns. Give it neither. Be as human as possible. As the first bombs hit the edge of the darkness, something strange happened. The void pulled back, as if in pain. Where bombs had hit, stars could be seen again. It's working, shouted Tai over the radio. Hit it again. Ship after ship launched their simple weapons. Some pilots flew their entire ships, loaded with bombs, straight into the darkness. The void writhed and twisted like a hurt animal. On Earth, people watched their screens with hope and fear. No one had ever fought the void before. No one knew if humans could win. Day stood on his ship's bridge, watching the battle. The aliens had 1,000 years of peace, he said quietly. They forgot how to fight. But humans, we never forgot. The void started to learn, to adapt. It began to predict where the next bombs would hit. That's when June gave a new order. No more patterns. Everyone attack however you want. Be random. The pilots, freed from strict orders, became truly unpredictable. Some spun their ships in wild spirals. Others played loud music as they attacked. One pilot sang old Earth songs as she flew straight into the darkness. The void couldn't predict them. It couldn't understand them. For the first time in its long life, the void began to feel something new. Fear. "We're pushing it back," said Yuna, watching the maps. "It's actually retreating." Han smiled. "Of course it is. It's facing something it's never met before." "What's that?" asked Revan, the alien survivor. Han looked at the screen showing the brave, chaotic human attack. Humanity. The battle with the void lasted many months. The darkness pulled back when hit by human bombs, but it always tried to come back. It learned and changed, trying to guess what humans would do next. But humans were still more unpredictable. No two attacks were the same. When the void expected them to run away, they attacked harder. When it expected an attack from the left, they came from the right. "We're losing too many brave people," Ta said sadly. 6 months into the fight, half of Earth's fighters were gone. "But look," Yuna pointed to the map. "The void is getting smaller. It's leaving these star systems completely." June and Han worked on one final plan, the most daring yet. A small team would fly right into the heart of the void itself. They would carry the most basic force in human history. Fire. Not real fire, Han explained to the confused officers, but the idea of it. Destruction that leads to new growth. The most basic cycle humans understand. Admiral Da himself would lead this mission. His ship, stripped of all fancy technology, carried only simple tools and a special device Han called a star heart, basically a tiny star in a box, raw power without any smart controls. "It will either destroy the center of the void," Han told them, "or give it a very bad stomachache." When the small ship entered the darkness, they lost all contact. For 3 days, the fleet waited, watching, hoping. Then suddenly, light burst from inside the void. Not the dying light of stars being eaten, but new light, burning bright and hot. The void pulled in on itself, then exploded outward in a wave of energy that washed over the human ships without hurting them. Where darkness had been, stars shone again. Of Dad's ship, there was no sign. 3 years later, as the galaxy rebuilt, the surviving aliens came to Earth. Not as leaders, but as friends asking for help. They brought a new agreement, one that made humans full partners. More than that, heroes. "You were right to fear us," Joan told the gathered aliens at the signing ceremony. "Humans are dangerous. We destroy. We burn. We tear down. But we also build. We create. We keep going." When the universe needed that mix, only humans answered. Yuna, now an admiral herself, added softly, "And we paid a high price." That day, a monument was built in space near Earth, a simple stone pillar with the names of those who never came home. At its base, simple words read, "When the universe needed heroes, only humanity answered." A year later, something unexpected happened. A small ship, badly damaged, appeared near Earth. Inside was Admiral Da, somehow alive, though changed. His eyes now held both darkness and light. The void wasn't evil, he told them when he could speak again. It was lonely. It had never met anything it couldn't understand before. Humans were the first mystery it found in 1 billion years. "And now?" asked June. Day smiled. "Now it's learning. From us. The beings that even the oldest races in the galaxy couldn't predict." Among the stars, something new began to grow from what was left of the void. Something that had both darkness and light, destruction and creation. Something, perhaps, a little more human. The universe had needed heroes, and humanity had answered.